Well, hello, my paranormal peeps, and welcome back to another Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I am the founder and lead investigator of Deep Woods Paranormal. Tonight we have Hugh Knight with Northwest Yeti Quest with us. He is a previous guest. If you have not seen the previous podcast with us, talking about his research in Oregon, in the Washington area, please go ahead and go down below into the description and we will have it linked for you guys to check out. Otherwise, stay on this one and go back and listen to it later if you want. So, without further ado, let's bring on Hugh and let's have him kind of talk a little bit about what he's been up to since we last talked. I think it's been at least 2 or 3 months, and he's got some videos he's going to share with us as well. So we're going to check those out and have him talk about that and tell us all the crazy things that have been happening to him since he was last with us. So Hugh, go ahead and tell us what's going on with you.
Yeah, man. Well, after our last conversation, short after that, I was out in the woods doing what I do. I was ran over, and I'm pretty sure that happened after we talked last.
Oh, gee.
And got
Big
run over
brother's
by
out
a
to get
log.
you, man.
Yeah,
Bigfoot,
and
what? Get him, get him.
it's crazy too because there's a certain valley that I keep trying to get to. And every time I set out for this valley, it's been like one day at a time. I couldn't make it to it because my alarm just didn't go, which was so weird in itself because I set the alarm, but it never went off. So it ruined my whole day. Another time I'm trying to get there, I get kills in a flat tire. Had to deal with that. Hours put me behind. And then this trip, I'm out in the woods all alone for a few days, and a lot of weird stuff happened on this trip, but it ended me getting ran over by a logger. I was on an e-bike and he came around a corner and just ran me over. And then I'm stuck under his truck. He just grabs reverse and backs off me, and it ripped my knee wide open. It messed me up. I couldn't walk for a while.
Yeah.
So that took me out of the game. But
That's this one here. So we're several. I think he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He has 7 different YouTube videos on here, and this is one of the YouTube videos. I was kind of watching this earlier. Crazy, just
yeah.
crazy that happens to you.
So that
God.
that
Killed.
I lost a few months of research because of that. Couldn't walk, but strangely, if it wasn't for that happening, I don't know. Did I send you that Bigfoot beach walk?
I don't know. We can look. Hold on. Let me make this smaller. We can look at the titles. I have Bigfoot orb anomaly in the woods. I have 2 nights among Sasquatch with wife and kids. I left my research site in an ambulance.
I think I might not have sent you that because I was thinking you had already seen that one, but you hadn't because it happened to this. But
yeah, I'm so far behind right now. I'm revamping all of our audio podcasts. So you can see we got pretty.
Well, I can just explain it a little bit. I've been laid up for a few weeks, and I was just starting to get where I could kind of walk, but I walked really bad. I had a limp in each leg, and we went to the beach. We went to Ocean Shores, Washington, and I own a piece of property there. And I wasn't there for research. I was there just with my parents and sister and kids and wife and everything. And we're out on the beach, and I have a spotting scope attached to my cell phone, and I'm just playing with it, and I'm scanning across this marshy, swampy thing. And that peninsula, Ocean Shores, Washington, is known for Sasquatch sightings. And I didn't know that until after I'd purchased the property. It was just a coincidence. And I'm just playing with this spotting scope, and I see something, and I'm looking at it, and I'm just like, why does that look exactly like a Sasquatch? But it wasn't moving. It's just fixed in like a statue. And my daughter comes up, and I have her look at it, and what does this look like to you? And she's like, that looks 100% like a Sasquatch. And so I'm filming this thing. Like I said, it didn't move the whole time I filmed it. And I'm telling the other people, like, this is really weird. And they're just like, oh, we're tired of you and your Bigfoot stuff. And as I'm leaving, because they wanted to go and I walked really slow because of the bad injury. As I'm leaving, I stop and I set it on a log and I get a stable view of it. I'm scanning over and I'm looking in the creature. The object seemed to have been gone. And so I scanned around and just left. But then when I went home, I realized my cell phone was cracked. My screen was all cracked from the accident. And there's really bad glare from the sun. And so I didn't realize that the object was still there. It just had lined up in a different perspective. And it was lined up with this stump. And it looked like it was part of the stump. And then when I got home and looked at the footage, I realized, like, wow, like, this is really weird. Like, this really does look like a Sasquatch. And I put that video up, not thinking much of the video because it wasn't part of my research or anything. And then what do you know? That video blows up bigger than, I mean, I don't have like viral videos, but that video got thousands of views in a few days. And of course, I got a lot of grief, people accusing me of it being fake because it's not moving or whatever. But I wanted to touch on that and just kind of explain that because, I couldn't even walk, really. I mean, I was so crippled. And for the people that have accused me of that being staged or fake, like, if you knew anything about the condition I was in, like, there's no way I'm out hoaxing or faking anything. Like, I literally could barely walk. I had like one crutch and I would walk all gimpy because both legs were pretty messed up pretty bad. But it was just so that, I'm just at the beach spotting scope and I find something that sure is like a Bigfoot, but I haven't been back there to scan that exact spot and see if that object's still there, if the Bigfoot's gone, whatever it is, I don't know. But it was just a weird kind of fluke. And that would have never happened had I not been ran over because it totally rearranged my schedule and put me in places I wouldn't have been otherwise.
Yeah.
And
so one thing that people don't realize is that
to,
when you're looking at a Bigfoot, if you actually start to watch it, they'll freeze. They just stop. They look like a damn tree. The damn things look like a tree. They will sit there and look like a tree. If they're like this, they'll just stop mid-stride. And they look like a damn tree.
Yeah.
They blend right into the environment. Oh yeah, that's why very few people see them. I mean, if you think you see movement, you look over, you're like, okay, what is that? And you're looking at it and you're going, that looks like a Bigfoot, but it's not moving, but it looks like a Bigfoot. Or it just looks like a tree. I mean, they're big. I mean, they look like a tree trunk. And then people don't look up past about 5-6 feet, and you don't realize that they're just standing there with their arms out, or they put their arms out up, and they, because they have fur on them, they look like the tree. They blend right in with the trees, especially if they're in the tree line or in the shade. You can't.
Yeah, well, and this one was just outside of the tree line. So if it is a Bigfoot, it was completely out in the open, completely naked, basically. Yeah. No foliage between me and it. And it was about a mile away. And if it is a Bigfoot, and I did get footage of it, it probably wasn't expecting somebody like me to have a freaking spotting scope attached to it. I was so far away that with the naked eye, you couldn't see it at all. And then I'm just scoping around, and all of a sudden there's this thing that looks like a Bigfoot. And it was so bizarre because I wasn't on a research trip. I wasn't in my area. I wasn't, and then here I am looking at something. And I should have sent you that. I thought I did send you that video. My apologies on that.
No, it might be in there. I have to just look. I was looking through them earlier. Like I said, I've been just slammed between my normal job and this job. Just like I said, I'm redoing all of this audio podcast. I'll be doing the video podcast next. But the new podcast, if you guys are watching the new podcast, you'll notice it has different pictures and different descriptions than normal, and all that stuff is just completely different. And I've got somebody that's helping me with my podcast now that is helping me improve them quite a bit. So more SEO stuff like that. But anyways, so I want, it makes me wonder if that Bigfoot could even see you. Maybe it could see you from that far away. I mean, if you couldn't see it with the naked eye, I don't know, or something.
It probably couldn't see me, but then again, nobody knows how good eyes they have.
Right.
If anything, it obviously sensed that I was looking at it, because the entire time I looked at it, it was frozen like a statue the whole time.
Wow.
And there was no movement on it. That's why I was so kind of baffled by it when I'm filming it. And even in the video, I'm doubting that it's a Bigfoot. I'm even telling my daughter, like, I don't know. It's moving. I don't know what it is, and it was so unexpected, because I wasn't there to look for Bigfoot. And then all of a sudden I have what seems to be one in my camera. And it was just really bizarre, just a weird fluke. And strangely, on that same exact day, this was probably right before I saw Bigfoot, I picked up this rock off the beach. And I'm a rock hound type person. And I knew this rock was something weird. I didn't know what it was. And I kept it. And just recently, I was watching a video about rare gems and weird rocks. And it turns out the rock I picked up is called Jet. And it's a rare gemstone. And it's supposed to protect you from evil entities or dark energies and all this stuff. And it was just really weird coincidence that I picked up that chunk of Jet and found it. And then an hour later, or minutes later, maybe, I'm filming, what looked to be a Sasquatch. It just weird coincidences like that seem to follow me in everything I do out there.
Right. Well, they watch us too. I mean, what I've noticed is that when I used to go
Yeah.
into like Black Star Canyon, I researched up there. I didn't even know Bigfoot existed. It was like 8 years in that I'd been up there. I didn't even realize I'd had several encounters with them and didn't even know about it. Um, just didn't ever think they existed. So I never put two and two together. And then
Yeah.
after, that first encounter was like, oh my gosh. Then I was like a bloodhound. I was all over them. And we started having encounters here and there and stuff like that. And I had encounters in the other mountains up in that area too. So I mean, they once they kind of, I think it's kind of like a dog. And I'm not calling Bigfoot dogs, guys. I'm just saying that once they kind of pick up on you and kind of get to know you, they get more comfortable with you like any other animal. They don't fear you as much. Maybe they come around you a little bit more. Maybe they kind of start being curious about what you're doing, especially because you're going around looking up at rocks and different other things, and you're constantly doing things. I mean, they're bored.
Yeah, no, I have a perfect example of like what you're talking about right there. About 8 years ago, I was paddleboarding on the Columbia River. And I'm looking into this wilderness area where there's no homes, no houses, no businesses, no roads, no anything. And I see somebody looking at me, and I like, there's a black person over in the bushes looking at me. And I couldn't see their face very well, but I just saw a really dark black face. And I saw eyes that were pretty big, bright eyes staring at me, and it was creeped me out. Like, why is there? It looked like a really dark skinned person. Just all I could see was kind of their head, and and it was really awkward. And I just kept paddling by, like, okay, that was really weird. Well, I didn't believe in Bigfoot back then. I didn't even think about Bigfoot. I went back to my parents' house, told them, because I paddled from their house. They live on the Columbia River. And told them about this strange person in the woods looking at me. So, 8 years later, I'm really thinking and going, like, what was that face in the woods? So I went and I did a video actually a couple months ago where I actually paddled deep over into those woods and went and explored that area. I didn't find any sign or anything, but I did find a family of river otters, which was really cool. I got footage of them.
Awesome.
And they were almost decimated in the past because of hunting. But totally kind of what you're talking about. I do think that once they kind of get your scent or your energy or whatever, then you are likely to see them more and have encounters more.
Right.
It's definitely been the case for me. It really has. And I suspect that moment on the Columbia River may have been my first. But I don't know. I don't know for sure.
Right. You could have
I,
been
I
seeing
did
for
want
years
to.
or experiencing them for years and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're thinking
I
back,
know
was that gunshot
prior
I
to
heard in the woods? Was that actually a gunshot or was that actually something, a tree knock? You know, was that
uh,
something I heard? Was that actually a Bigfoot or was that actually a bear running through the woods? uh,
yeah. Uh, Before I got ran over, I had a pretty interesting experience in the woods by myself. I had I'd been camping alone for a few nights, and so I was up all night in a game hunting blind thing with my night vision and a couple other pieces of equipment, but nothing happened, nothing at all. I was up all night drinking coffee, and it's about 6:30 in the morning, and I was feeling really, really sick. I don't know if I drank too much coffee, but I just felt poisoned. I felt horrible. And the sun was coming up and the birds were going crazy. And so I was like, okay, time for bed. And I set an apple next to my tent with the game camera aimed at the apple. And this apple was about 4 or 5 feet from where my tent was at. And so I'm in the tent sleeping, and it's about 9:30-ish in the morning, and I get woke up like blasted this vocalization sound that I had heard once before in a canyon. And initially, when it woke me up, I dismissed it as like, what the hell is that? I was deliriously. Then when I realized that sound was familiar, and I jump up and I run out and I'm looking all over my campsite, it took me a minute, but I noticed the big red apple was gone. It was right next to my tent. So I go get the chip reader. I run up, get the chip out of the game camera. I put it in my little screen, and the apple's there, and then just gone. And there's absolutely no footage, no explanation, no nothing. Just vanished into thin air.
yep.
And it was pretty creepy. It was really odd. Those game cameras work. They pick up rodents and leaves blowing in the wind. I mean, there's no reason why an apple could get removed from one of them without it registered. It just really, really, really kind of spun me.
Yeah, I've
That's
had
when
that
I
happen.
started to really realize like things truly have powers, like people have claimed. As much as people want to roll their eyes about that kind of stuff, it is real. I mean, it really is real.
Yep.
It's
I've recently had all the
it's
fruit.
hard for a lot of people to accept.
Yeah, I've recently
Yeah.
all the fruit in my backyard picked from the trees like something unseen.
Oh yeah.
So I have no idea. I have two cameras out there. I have a home security camera, and I left the trap camera out there, and it's there and it's gone. And there's no video on either one. Nothing coming, going, anything.
Huh.
It's like, how the hell did they do that? I have no idea what
And
happened.
that's happened more than once.
It only happened the one time. I'm in the
Okay.
process of continuing to monitor my backyard because I have a podcast out, Monster in My Backyard. I can link that down below too. But there's something going on back there. I mean, I just recently saw two sets of eyes. I mean, they were the size of baseballs in the backyard, behind the fence, over against the neighbor's fence, looking up at my wife as she was walking out to get to the put the chickens away. I'm like, oh crap. I don't know if I want you putting the chickens away anymore. You get that creepy, eerie feeling when you walk out there some nights. And other nights, it's just like there's nothing going on. But the dogs just
Yeah.
zerk at the forest back there. They start barking back there like there's something back there and I don't see anything. But the camera records eye shine. So I don't know what it is. It's big, whatever it is. There's probably multiples. So I don't know if it's Bigfoot, a dog man, or something else, or I don't think it's human. Too big to be human, but yeah. Anyways, keep
Huh.
going. Keep telling us about what's been going on with you. Tell us about some of these here. Let me put this back on. Well, let's just go through each. Let me share the screen again. Okay, so you talked to us about your what happened to you when you got hit. What's this one? 2 nights amongst the Sasquatch with wife and kids.
Yeah. Well, so that was the first mission I did back after the accident, and this was Father's Day weekend,
Oh,
exactly
cool.
1 year to my first sighting, actually.
Sweet.
And my wife wanted to know what I was doing for Father's Day, and I told her, well, it's basically my 1-year anniversary to my sighting, so I'm going up in the woods, and I was trying to do it alone. And she
Oh.
said, no, it's Father's Day. You're taking the kids and me with you. And so they went up there with me, and I didn't have a whole lot of high expectations with the kids and wife or anything really cool to happen. But we really did. Like, pretty early on, I found my first juvenile footprint in a creek bed in the sand. Yeah, I was so stoked. It was just a small, like, little kid size footprint in the sand. And that was really cool because I'd never found, I probably had gone by juvenile footprints, but I'd never noticed one before.
Right.
And that was pretty awesome. But the big thing was, as we're driving and I'm making a video and I'm filming trees and I'm talking about this area that is special to me or whatever. And all of a sudden I see something in the corner of my eye, and I asked my wife, what is that? And she's like, how would I know what that is? Like, and I get out and I go and I pull off the road, a huge ball of hair. And this is the hair right here.
Hey, hold on. Let me get back out of here so we can see that. Hold on. Okay, hold it back up. Oh, wow. That's great.
And then these are actually like dreadlocks, locks, which I've separated. And there's some locks inside here too. And this was just like, when I first saw this laying in the gravel, I thought it was a wig. That's how much hair it is. Just this huge blob of hair. And some of it is completely like translucently clear. Some of it's almost a black color. Some of it's a brownish color. Some of it's more of like an old man gray color. So there's really like 4 different colors in it. And what's interesting is some of them are actually a light brown on half of them. You'll pull like an individual strand, and half of it is a light golden brown, and then the other half is a dark brown, or almost black, which means it was bleached by the sun, and then it probably became wintertime, and then the next portion grew over the winter, and it's all dark. That's my guess. But it has a lot of this really, really white, like totally transparent look to it. And if you put the hair next to any human hair, it's about 3 to 4 times the diameter. So it's pretty weird hair. I've never found a single human hair. I've looked at a lot of different people's hairs just lately, and nobody's hair is even half the size of this diameter-wise. It's real wiry, real thick. Our roots still attached to some of it. And so if it is Sasquatch hair, I would have to assume that there was some kind of fight and somehow hair got ripped out in this scuffle, because it was laying in the road really weird. Either that or it was intentionally planted there just for me to find it or to mess with me. I don't know. But that's been talked about. That, it could have been a gift. It could have left for you, and I can only speculate to that. But it's definitely hair from, it's either Sasquatch, human, or horse, and horse to me is really hard to wrap my head around. I've never seen horses up there. And it's just, I looked at a lot of horses' tails lately, and I don't see multicolored tails at all. And I did have somebody do a microscopic assessment on it, and he told me he thinks it's horse, and that he thinks it's from 4 different kinds of horses, which to me is really hard to believe, because I have individual dreadlocks right here with all 4 different colors, all 4 different kinds in these locks. So for it to be locks like this, it had to originated from one source, because you can take go to the barber and scoop up all the hair off the floor, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. It's not turn into locks. It's just going to turn into a wadded up mess, a ball. It
Right.
won't twist itself into locks. So his assessment on the four different kinds of horses, I thank him for his help, and but I definitely am pursuing second opinions because it just doesn't make sense that it's four different kinds of horses in one ball. And the guy that made that conclusion admitted to me he'd never handled Sasquatch hair before. And it was interesting because the very first thing he told me upon looking at the hair was, originally he said, well, we can exclude horse and we can exclude line or whatever he said for cow. So right off the bat, he told me it wasn't horse, it wasn't cow. Then about 10 days later, he tells me it is horse, but it's four different kinds of horses. So, obviously I'm going to keep pursuing second opinions. And I have samples on their way to NCSU, Darby's study, North Carolina State University. And then I have another guy who I've been communicating with, horrible with names. He has a YouTube channel. I wish I could think better, but I'm sending him some too. And I have communicated with Melba Ketchum a little bit on Facebook, and I want to get her some, but she was real skeptical of me and the hair. So I don't know if I'll get her some, but at least she talked to me, and she did tell me I could send her some. I just haven't got that together yet, but I have enough hair where I could send out a lot of places, and I want as many different opinions as I can, because if somebody tells me it's this, I want to make sure him, and her all concur, before I make any real decisions. And, it is what it is. It's getting hair tested. It's a lot harder than you would ever think. There's no cut and dry place to go. Nobody really knows what Sasquatch hair looks like. And nobody's ever had a large amount of it. It's so when you do have people that claim they have Sasquatch hair, it's a very small amount, which you don't know. Was that off their shoulder? Was that off their back? Because you're going to get a different hair off a shoulder than you are off a head, just like on a human. Like my chest hair isn't at all similar to my head hair, and we have different hairs on our body, and they're all a little bit different. So it's getting hair analyzed is more challenging than somebody would ever really think.
And that's a very good point there. Yeah.
No.
That's a very, very good point. I have a big clump of hair that's in a garbage bag in the closet right now. We found out by a river, and I didn't know at first if it was roots or what it was, but some of it was really long. I mean, like the long hair you have, and it was just all in one place. I'm like, what the hell happened? It almost looked like something came up went for a swim and came up and laid down and like rubbed its back in the mud and got a big clump of it stuck in there, and then essentially moved on. But anyways,
do you think it might be Sasquatch?
I don't know. I have a microscope here, as you can kind of see over behind me. I got to look at it and see if it even looks like hair. It could be roots. It could be anything from the plants. It could be a plant based. Before I send it out, I have other hair samples. I have one with a little skin tab attached to it. So that one I'm holding on to because that's the only sample I have. I don't want to send that out and lose that because I hear a lot of places, be careful. A lot of places will take your samples, especially if you think they're real. They'll disappear on you.
Yeah, well, it's funny you bring that up because the guy that told me it was from four different horses, he then turned around and asked if he could keep the samples. And I said, yeah, you could keep them, but it's kind of weird. Okay, yeah, you can keep them. I sent him probably 8 or 9 hairs. And then that he himself sent samples into the North Carolina State University study. And I wonder if he sent mine in, but I don't know. I have no clue. Just something that, I've thought about.
Right. So we're running out of time here. I have about 6 minutes left. What are your future plans? Do you have any future expeditions planned? Do you have anything fun?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm in this for the long long road. My channel's growing, and
Yeah.
6 months ago I had 20 subscribers, and currently I have a little over 1,500. So
Yeah.
that's it's good. It's not mind blowing or anything, but I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm hoping to eventually get a kind of service going where I take people out and people that have wanted to do research or whatever, and get them to donate to my cause and take them out on and obviously I'm hoping for that $1 million shot, just like all of us are. I'm going to keep
Right.
pursuing that. But I mean, I have this list here of everything I wanted to talk to you about. I've had a lot of interesting discoveries. I mean, a lot, and I currently have 17 some gamers out, and keep going, man, and see where it takes me for sure. It's
Sweet.
it's a journey.
Yeah, and we'll have you back on. Maybe we'll have you back on next week, and we'll have you continue on with your carry on this conversation here. But
Yeah, no, I'd love to.
we're just running out of time. They only give us about
Yeah.
30 minutes to do a podcast on this platform. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll have to do it again. Let's do it next Tuesday, and then we'll have you back on, and we'll let you we'll start out with those subjects. And
Yeah, next Tuesday.
yeah,
Okay, great.
guys. So I appreciate you, Hugh. Thanks for coming on again, and we'll talk to you soon. And
Thank you.
catch you guys on the next one.
See